So we want to make sure we check for null as we do this. And as you can see right here, we did not check for null on our loop because answer can receive a null value because the pop-up message returns null if we press escape or cancel. So the first test would be before the dot equals, and we test it by doing this. We say the keyword, or the variable, excuse me, answer, and then not equals. Helps to actually press the shift key. Not equals, and then the keyword null. And then we can check to make sure it also passes our second test. So we guard against null by testing first because it has to be a short circuit evaluation. If it wasn't an object, or if it was something else, I could have I could test something else. But to make sure that my answer is not null, I have to check it before I check and look at what answer dot equals. Because null doesn't have a dot. I can't dot equal anything on null. I can't dot anything on null. So because null has no insides, it's an empty hole in the universe, I check against null first. And so on objects, when I'm doing a test, I make sure that it's not null. And if it is null, then I can do something else. In this case, I exit my loop. But because of short circuit evaluation, I have to make sure that this is false before I look at this one. So I make sure answer is not null. That has to evaluate to be true. And then I can look to see if it's blank. I can't look to see if it's blank before I check to see if it's null. Because short circuit evaluation says, oh, this fails the test. I exit out and I don't look in. And so we have right here that short circuit evaluation in action. We check to make sure null first and then dot equals. Now, a reminder, only object types, aka things that start with a capital, can be compared against null. I can't say count is not equal to null because count is an int. It's a primitive. It can't ever equal null. Only objects can equal null. String is an object. Pop-up viewer is an object. Pop-up controller, also an object. Scanner, object. So if I'm testing something that's an object, I need to make sure first that that object is not null if it's something that could be created or used by someone else that I don't have control over. So this test right here, answer not equals null, is a good default test to make sure your code doesn't crash and burn when you're not expecting it to. Because objects, I can't use them if they're not initialized. And if I assign, in this case, the response of an escape key press or the cancel press from a input dialog, it assigns null into answer. I come up into here into the loop, and I then have null. I can't do null dot equals. Null doesn't have that as an option, so I have to make sure I check that the input is not null first, and then check to make sure I check it.